Imagine you're working at a bank. Let's call it Woodgrove Bank, where compliance rules change daily. If you're relying on static, uploaded documents, they become completely useless the minute a new rule drops. That means you need a highly dynamic way to feed your AI the absolute most current data. To master custom data connections for the AB 620 exam, we're going to hit a few key areas in this explainer today. We'll look at why use custom data, the required power effects table, the rule of three, and our two methods, HTTP requests and Power Automate flows. Starting with part 1, why use custom data? Let's talk about what happens when your organization's critical data is locked away where standard connectors just can't reach it. Think about it. What if your rules change daily? At Woodgrove Bank, the compliance team keeps their regulatory requirements in a proprietary API that updates constantly. If you're just relying on static SharePoint files or uploaded PDFs, well, your AI agent is going to give outdated, non-compliant answers. For your exam, the key takeaway is this. You've got to retrieve the data yourself and reshape it so the AI grounds its responses in the absolute latest info. You can think of Copilot Studio's generative answers node like a highly secure vault. The custom data option is basically the exact key you need to unlock it. Whether your data is hiding in proprietary APIs, internal databases, or some legacy system, this specific architecture lets a user ask a question, the agent hits that specific regulatory API, and boom, it delivers a perfectly grounded result. Let's look at the actual data structure you need to make that happen. Moving on to part 2, the required Power FX table. This is the architectural blueprint you have to use. When you pass this custom data, Copilot Studio is incredibly strict. It's kind of like filling out official HR paperwork. If you mess up one box, the whole thing gets rejected. Your custom data has to be a Power FX table with 3 exact columns. First up is content. This is the actual text the AI uses, and honestly, it's the only one that's strictly required. Next, you have content location, which is just a URL used as a citation link. And finally, title, which is the display label for that citation. Feed the node anything else, and it simply fails. Definitely memorize this exact 3-column schema for the exam. Section 3, the rule of 3. This is arguably the most testable constraint you're going to face. If you remember nothing else from this explainer, remember the number 3. There is a hard architectural limitation in Copilot Studio. It will only ever use the first 3 records in your Power FX table to generate a response. So if your system kicks back 100 regulations or even just 4, it literally doesn't matter. Anything after record number 3 is completely ignored by the AI. This brings us to a huge exam concept, positional selection. The system picks those first 3 items based entirely on their physical position in the list. It completely ignores how relevant they actually are to the user's question. It's exactly like grabbing the top 3 files off a massive stack on your desk. They might be the right files, or they might just be the ones someone randomly dropped there 5 minutes ago. Because this selection is strictly positional, you have to design your retrieval to filter and rank the results before they ever return to the node. You have to guarantee that the top 3 are actually the right 3. All right, section 4, method, HTTP requests. This is the first of 2 distinct tools to retrieve and reshape your data. Think of an HTTP request like a courier fetching a package, except the package is written in a language the AI just doesn't understand. So first you add an upstream HTTP request node to call your data API and grab that package. Second, you use a setVariable node with a PowerFX for all expression. This acts as your translator. It parses the raw JSON from the API and maps it directly into that strict 3-column table we just talked about. Finally, you take that beautifully formatted variable and pass it right into the generative answers custom data field. For the exam, you've got to know exactly when to choose this method. You want to go with the HTTP request flow when the API is straightforward and the data can be reshaped with just one simple call. The input goes in, the PowerFX expression translates it, and the output is your 3-column table. It's fast and it's efficient. But what if your setup is a bit more chaotic? That brings us to section 5, method. Power Automate flows. This is our second tool, and you use it when a simple API call just won't cut it. Let's look at a scenario where you absolutely need a flow. Imagine a logistics manager trying to answer a customer question by pulling tracking data from 5 totally different delivery companies all at once. A Power Automate flow is required here because you're aggregating records from multiple systems. It's also required if you're dealing with tricky stuff like pagination, complex business rules, or if you need specific Power Platform connectors that a raw HTTP request can't handle. The flow basically does all the heavy lifting and assembly before handing that neat package over to the agent. So let's lock this comparison in for your exam prep. You're going to use HTTP requests for simple, single calls where basic JSON parsing and a PowerFX for all expression can get the job done. On the flip side, you want to escalate to Power Automate flows when you're juggling multiple systems, complex logic, or really unfriendly APIs. But write this down. No matter which method you pick, the final output variable that hits the custom data field absolutely must be that exact 3-column table: content, content location, and title. I want to leave you with this crucial question to think about as you study for the AB 620 exam. Are your first 3 records truly the most relevant? Because if you haven't engineered your HTTP request or your flow to perfectly filter and rank those results before handing them off, your AI is literally flying blind. Think carefully about how you rank your proprietary data, because those top 3 positional spots, they are the only ones that actually matter.